Today's recipe is going to be a New Year's recipe. I'm going to be calling it New Year's Greens. I don't really know if people make, like, regular greens or, like, I don't know. I'm going to be making New Year's greens. I don't know if it's new, if I just created it. I seriously doubt that. But for my greens recipe today, we're going to be having mustard greens and kale that I'm going to cook with white onion, celery, bell pepper, turnips, mushrooms, and carrots. Now, this is going to be a fun recipe that you're going to watch me as I make it for the first time. And we're going to learn together if it's going to taste good or not. So, I'm going to start off by putting my pan on. And I'm going to cook and brown my white onion. I'm going to put some olive oil in my pan to cook down my onions. It's about a tablespoon, I think. And this is about a half of a yellow onion. Now, you're seeing me as I make this for the first time. So at the end of this video, it's either going to come out very, very good, or it's going to be a very funny video. Now, I'm trying to keep my midsection out of the picture, but you're going to see my fridge, the underneath of my sink, and the bottom of my counters in this video, as well as all of my ingredients on the side table. I have pets that I'm trying to keep out from the background, so you're going to get this shot, and I'm going to test it to see if this is the way it'll look better, if this angle, or if it looks better like the angle I had it before. But since this is a taller pot, I've had to switch angles than I had with my last video, because I'm still new to using my tripod. Alright. So, I've had to set my tripod up a little bit higher and kind of been guessing with the angles the past like 10-15 minutes. So, we're going to do this and see what happens. Now, this is a half of a white onion. It's going to go in. Now, this is going to be probably quite a long video, because this is not going to be a short, easy 15-minute recipe. At least not to my knowledge. This is me cooking this for the first time, and I'm sharing the experience with all of you. But this is going to be my recipe of New Year's greens that I don't know if it exists already. I'm guessing it probably does. But I guess it's just going to be a greens recipe. Now, I haven't picked my seasonings yet, but I do know at some point I'm going to be adding at least 2 cups of water and some vegetable bouillon. Now, if you have vegetable stock, you probably won't need to make your own out of bouillon. But I am, because I don't have the space or the patience to deal with giant boxes of vegetable broth until I need them. And I'm not going to buy them the same day I need them. This is the 4th video I've filmed today. And I'm hoping to put it up at New Year's, right after my breakfast burrito video that I filmed earlier today. And if you had just watched my peanut butter pretzel fudge, dark chocolate peanut butter pretzel fudge, that also was shot the same day because I was out of town. So I have done 4 videos in one day, which I'm not used to doing. So that's why this one's going to be a little bit of a free-for-all. Not quite as planned as the other ones. And I'm still figuring out how to YouTube. So this is going to be very interesting. So if you got about 45 minutes to kill, and you want to figure out if I made greens or not, stay stay tuned. Right now I'm playing with a bunch of white onions in a pot. Because I'm not just going to let you watch a pot without me stirring in it for 20 minutes. Alright. Now, tilt it so you can see. That's what my onions look like. Might add a little bit more olive oil. Probably doesn't need it, but this pan has been a holy terror and has been sticking every time I use it, so I do not trust it. So we're going to add about another, 3 teaspoons, not quite a tablespoon of olive oil to put in our onions. Because since this has so many greens in it, it's going to be healthy. So we're going to even that out by putting entirely too much oil, apparently. I might sound like I'm completely done or I'm frustrated, but I'm really not. I just really want to show you guys something new and be kind of candid and see if you like this kind of video better than me just being completely nervous while I do a voiceover of me cooking and stirring in a pot for 15 minutes. Alright. Now that that looks some kind of decent, we're going to put in about, I would say roughly 1.5 cups of celery. I did not really measure it. I had a whole bunch that I had to use before it went bad in my icebox. So that's the kind I'm using right now. I do have guinea pigs, so when I do have vegetable waste, if it's edible for them, they do eat it. And since I'm a vegan, they are incredibly fat animals, but they're very cuddly, so that's nice. If you're wondering, my guinea pigs' names are Bernard and Pierre. If you're in on my little joke, Bernard is my child and Pierre is his evil little boyfriend that likes to be a dick. And I like to say that Bernard is my child and Pierre is his boyfriend that I don't like. But that's who they are. They're my children and I love them. But yeah, everyone has their place in my house. Me and the cat are pretty much at the top, and the guinea pigs. The guinea pigs like to think they rule everything, but you know. It's New Year's, and in about 5 minutes from now, I might pause the camera and open me a bottle of wine or something. If you do hear a lot of loud booms, that's because there's fireworks going off outside my house. It is entirely too cold for me to sit outside and watch fireworks. Because where I live, you can pop fireworks as long as it's a national holiday throughout the entire year. So every time there's a national holiday, we're allowed to pop fireworks. So I'm not really missing out on much. It is New Year's, and I am stick inside cooking. But I can pretty much see fireworks whenever I want. Or at least, 4 times a year. Now, I'm going to give that another 2-3 minutes maybe of me stirring in it and you watching me stir in it before I add in my green bell peppers. Now this is going to be real time. I'm probably not going to cut or edit this because I want to see about having a long video because I want to know just how slow my internet is. If you've been to my house, you know how incredibly slow it is. Mostly because I live in the middle of nowhere. And there's only one place that we get internet from. They have terrible customer service. And they're incredibly slow. But enough about my internet service. Let's add some green bell pepper. turnips that I'm going to be putting in later. And I chopped off the root and the stem part. And I chopped them, I don't know, into little slivers. I've never had turnip before, so this is going to be new to me. I've never had mustard greens before, so this is going to be new to me. I have had kale quite a few times. And while I'm cooking this, I'm actually drinking green juice, which is part kale. Now, this pot might be too small for this recipe that I'm making, since I'm literally getting everything out of my ice box that I need to have cooked before it goes bad. Because I've been out of town for a few days, and I bought it before I went out of town, and when I was cooking and doing other recipes before I left. So, this is going to be like kitchen sink greens, probably. Something along those lines. Now, I am doing this all off my phone, so I'm not really editing anything. This is going to be just one continuous video. I'm going to give that another few more, maybe another minute or so, while I get together a few cups of water and some vegetable bouillon. See if I can get to my measuring cup. I'm just going to wing it with a wine glass. Alright. I'm going to add some purified water in just a few minutes. Now, I do live in a studio, and I have a kitchenette, so yes, my kitchen is incredibly tiny. Yes, it is very cluttered, and that's how I live right now. Now, if you people watch my videos, and I get that ad money, I will get a bigger kitchen. When and if and when I can swing it. Now, I'm going to get my vegetable bouillon out of my fridge. I use a paste. I don't use cubes. Let me show that to you before I do it. I'll be using about a tablespoon of this, I guess, because I really need it to flavor all the greens and all the root vegetables I have going in today. Pick up olive oil. Pick up my vegetables. Now, this liquid bouillon or paste bouillon is a little bit more expensive. Or this one thing of bouillon costs as much as one thing of broth. And this makes about 38 servings of broth, as to maybe 4 with a container of broth. So, there's that. And this hasn't started to stick yet, which I'm highly surprised at. Because in literally every video I've done so far where things could stick to the bottom, they have. So, thank you, olive oil. I think we're going to... Let's put these carrots in. We're going to cook these carrots down. Maybe like half minute, maybe. And then I'm going to add some water, and then I'm going to add the bouillon. Now, when I'm having a sick day, and normal people who aren't vegan would just have would have just like a clear broth or a quick soup when they aren't feeling well, I just take a spoon of this bouillon and some fresh mushrooms if I have it, and I make kind of a quick soup with it, and I just drink that out of a coffee mug instead of making a whole entire batch of soup that will take forever to cook. I just take a bit of bouillon, I make a broth, and I make a quick soup in a mug. Last time I did that, I had put green onions in it. It was delicious. Now, I don't know how late it is right now, but I do want to put I want to put this recipe up, and I want to put up my my breakfast taco recipe up before the sun comes up tomorrow. Now, I've got about 2 cups of water in, and this is a regular, like, a smaller spoon, like, not like a giant tablespoon. Like, this is like a small spoon you use like for like cereal and stuff. So I am in fact winging this recipe. And I think I'm going to scoop out the last little bit of bouillon I have. Make a nice little cube. I'm probably going to have to add more water when I add in the greens, but I think I'm going to put my seasoning in this broth I made. But first, I want to try an experiment where I add some water to my almost empty jar of bouillon and get the last little bits out. Excuse me. I filled up my bouillon jar with water. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to shake it. So as of right now, it's probably got close to a tablespoon and a half in total of bouillon. This vegetable bouillon I have. Shaking up the jar. Trying to get all the last little bits out. And I need to add extra water anyway, probably when I add the greens. So, there we go. I'm going to stir this a little bit more. Now that I've got the water in the jar. If you notice, my nails aren't as pretty anymore. My nails actually broke off this afternoon when I was busy doing something. And I had been fed up with them, so I just ripped all my pretty nails off. And I have yet to take off all the glue. So if my nails are a mess, I am sorry. I'm busy, and those things are in my way. Now I'm going to add my 3 turnips and my 4 fresh mushrooms. These are white mushrooms. To my broth. And I'm going to stir these in. Now, I have my temperature gauge set on 175 But I do need to boil these, so I'm going to put it up to 245. Please excuse my shirt, as in I did not do laundry yet. And if you saw the top half of my shirt, you'd question if I'd listened to Creed at one point, or if I listened to Korn. You'd be right on both accounts. I do, or I did. There's some parts where Creed was being accused of being that generation's Nickelback. But honestly, Nickelback had to evolve from something, so it happens to all of us. We all like that one band that everyone makes fun of. I dabble in One Direction things. If you've seen my icebox, you saw someone in my icebox you can probably recognize. As in, that was a Christmas card that someone has sent me, and I was excited when I got it. So, there's that. Now, hopefully, some of these vegetables cook down, because I am still questioning if this pot is big enough. Now, if you've seen some other videos that I've done today, I was wearing a different outfit. I've showered, and it's been a few hours since I've done those, so I have changed clothes. It is the same day that I'm doing 4 videos in one day, but I have changed my clothes and showered and everything, so that's why my outfit looks different. If you see a few videos where I keep saying today's date, or if you're watching this tomorrow, yesterday's date. I'm going to actually put a lid on this while I get my seasonings together. So I want to figure out how this is supposed to taste. So I'm going to find my lid. And you lovely people get to watch my lid for a little while I get my seasonings together. Now, I'm thinking garlic powder, oregano, parsley, basil. I'm thinking chopped onion, dried chopped onion, cumin, coriander. The bouillon's probably going to have enough salt, so I don't have to put salt. I might put some white pepper and some ground ginger, but not much. Let's see if I can find my white pepper. Alright. Let me see. I have pulled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasonings. I think that should be enough. Now, I'm going to move my greens back, and I'm going to set up my seasonings in a medium-sized bowl, small bowl. Now, I'm going to use I'm going to use teaspoon and half a teaspoon measurements today. I'm probably going to have to watch this video back to put in the description box. But let's see how this goes. Teaspoon of parsley. It smells delicious. Oh wait, that's oregano. Oregano. That's 1 teaspoon of oregano. 1 teaspoon of parsley. 1 teaspoon of basil, and 1 teaspoon of chopped onion. It's dried chopped onions. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Could use garlic salt, but I'm curious to see how much the bouillon has put, how much salt the bouillon has added to the recipe, and I don't want it to be overly salty. Garlic powder. Put it back up. Now, this is going to be my 1/2 teaspoon measurements. I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of organic ground coriander. And get the little lid thingy off. Dust it out. Coriander. I have a magnet set up with baby food jars to organize my seasonings. I have a bunch of cousins, and all those cousins seem to have babies almost. So I have a lot of baby food jars coming my way if and when I want them. Let's see. I want to put ground ginger, but I don't want to put too much. Let's see. I'm going to pick up the teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon, and I'm going to see if I can find my 1/8 of a teaspoon. Alright. 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground ginger. And 1/8 of a teaspoon, clean off the teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of white pepper. Now, hopefully that should be enough seasonings. If not, when it comes out, I'm going to add paprika and turmeric. Now, let's check. I'm going to grab an oven mitt, and I'm going to check my pot. And it's boiling. Lovely. Off to the side. Switch hands. Grab hold and stir. Now, I'm pretty sure the turnips will take a while to cook. So, I'm going to have those boil for a little bit longer. And then I'm going to add my greens. And then I'm going to lower my pot, but I'm going to keep it low for a while. Now, I had never had mustard greens before. I bought these from a vegetable stand on the side of the road. And the kind man there said to wash them 5 times. On the 3rd time, use salt. Now, I probably washed them about 11 times. And I used salt for 2 of those times. And I put a little tiny drop of soap at one point. And I washed all the greens with the soap just to make sure. And I made sure I rinsed all the soap out. These things have been incredibly overwashed. But they are organic from a roadside stand. I'm the one that processed them. I'm the one that washed them. The kale, on the other hand, is the remnants of my bag of kale that I've been eating on for a bit. So it needs to get eaten. So it's going in the greens pot. Now, I'm going to add all of those seasonings I just told you about. I added by the teaspoon, the 1/2 teaspoon, and the 1/8 of a teaspoon. And we're going to stir those in. still have no clue what time of night it is. But those turnips look a lot like potatoes. So I probably am getting either very tired, or those turnips really do look like white potatoes. Which I honestly thought about putting white potatoes in this, but I did not want them to fall apart. Now, I am making a rather big batch because I am doing an icebox clean out. Or if you're not from the South, you probably call it a refrigerator clean out. I think icebox is just native to where I live. It's refrigerator or fridge or, you know. But I call it an icebox. If you've been confused by my other videos, it means refrigerator when I say icebox. Alright. Now, I'm going to put... Ooh, I'm going to catch my spoon before it falls. Then I'm going to put... I still have my heat on 245. I'm going to put my mustard greens in my pot. Now, I probably should have chopped these, but I didn't. They were so broken apart by me overwashing them that I didn't see the point in cutting them. Probably should have, in hindsight. Now, if we haven't got room for the kale, then we haven't got room for the kale. But this is fitting nicely. And this is what I was supposed to be cooking anyway. So, I'm going to add a little bit more water to this. And then we'll cook it down a little bit, and then maybe we'll add the kale in. But these greens is what the main dish is supposed to be. So, as long as the greens are in, I'm happy. And grab our measuring cup. I'm going to measure out about 1.5 cups, a cup of water. 1.5 cups of water. Pour that in. Just so everything is covered in my pot. I'm going to put an oven mitt back on to hold the side of my pot. And I'm going to stir. Now, by itself,